I knelt down, put my knee on the ground for Overwatch. You hear this whistle and boom! I just feel myself just going back, just getting laid out, not knowing what's going on. I have this bag of pretzels in my pocket. When I roll over, I smash this bag of pretzels. So I'm like, fuck, here goes my food. I get up, I look around, I run to the open door. Everybody's surprised to see me. Oh shit, Jones, what the fuck happened? I don't fucking know. This car pulls up, stagger formation. Two guys, AKs, just start firing at us. So we, take a little defense position. Then we get off and kind of chase after them. And that lasted for a good 2 or 3 hours. So we just heard over the radio that Legion took KIAs, which is Arbiton. And I'm like, nah, man, like, what the fuck you talking about? Guys I'm just fucking with, like, earlier that morning that I just seen the day before. And now I'm just watching their bodies get put on the helicopter and flown away. Boom, it's your boy Will Jones. You already know what's going down. United States Army, 2004 to 2008. I was born and raised in Torrance, California, just outside of LA, 5 minutes from the beach. So spent a lot of childhood at the beach, close to water, pool at Pops' house. So every summer, pool parties. Okay, well, party is a little, how you say, relative to however you think a party would be. But yeah, we were in the pool a lot, have people come over. Both my mother and father had previous marriages. And then I had 2 kids each from those marriages. Then they met, got together, had me and my little sister. Then they divorced when I was 3 years old. Father remarried a few years later. Then I have a little brother. And then mother just recently remarried. So there's like some stepkids in the mix. It was wild. But yeah, so since 3 years old, parents have been divorced. We went through the court system a lot, child custody battles. Primarily it was just 2 weeks at mom's house, 2 weeks at dad's house. Until we got a little older, then I went and stayed with my mom. I was around like 8th grade, 9th grade, and then, yeah.
Did you get in any trouble throughout your childhood at all?
So I got in a lot. Yeah, I guess I did get in a lot of trouble. So back in so this is like 7th grade or something like that, 6th or 7th grade. I don't even know how. I mean, I tell a lot of stories, I guess, or something. I don't know. A lot of it is just like I was bullshitting around with people, just telling jokes or what I perceive to be jokes, and they take it just outlandish. I thought I'd tell it pretty wild and very over exaggerated to where it's like, okay, there's a little bit of truth there, but then, it's very questionable. But some people, they take it. And one instance in particular, I'm on the phone trying to talk to this girl. I started telling a whole bunch of stuff, try to, impress her, and I don't know where my mind was at the time, but I guess this was all at the time, like, I guess Columbine had just happened or something like that, so I guess I had said something on the phone, like the whole plan to come and attack the school, right? And she took that and fucking just got extremely scared, and she went and told her parents. So next day, it's just a normal day at school, I'm chilling at PE, just having fun. Principal comes out, like, we're real cool with the principal, he knew my stepmom, my dad, like. So, he comes out, I'm like, hey, what's up, just trying to be all cool. And he's all like super serious. So what the fuck is going on? He's like, yeah, let's go to your locker. I'm like, all right, cool, go to the locker. He's like, open up the locker. I'm like, what's going on? And he takes me, into the office, had to sit down. It's like, yeah, so we've got reports, or we got called that, you're planning to shoot up the school. Are you serious? Like, I don't remember saying this shit. I guess, like, she took it seriously. I don't even, I don't know where I was at the time when I said all this, or what I even said when I said it all. But I guess I fucking had this whole story, and she just believed it and then went with it. So, that just became a big old thing. And, upon further investigating, they found that I had no, it's just all kind of just made up on the spot type thing. You know, there's no plans, there's no means or anything even, attempt anything like this. So it's like, okay, whatever. So, but at that time, like I said, I'm thinking I'm this big mafia boss in sixth grade. So I'm like, are you going to get her back? Retaliation. Man, I did a lot of fucking dumb shit. So, she had a little brother, right? And we all played on Little League and all this stuff, So I was like, all right, cool. We don't get this little motherfucker, right? I feel bad even talking about this stuff now, man. So, I'm over at my friend's house, and we call him up. Like, hey, man, come out to the park. He was at a different park, So I'm like, all right, cool, we cool. Like, we just away from my house. So it's a whole different part of the city. So, so I'm at my friend's house, and then there's another park on the other side. And that's where they live. So I'm like, all right, cool. Just have them come meet us up there. And then we get there, we go jump them. He's like, all right, cool. Let's do this. So we get his brother as our getaway driver. And, we call him up. Plan is working, pretty flawlessly. I get some of the brothers' clothes, so I just look like different when I'm at the park. As the plan was, boom, I'm gonna go to the park, hang out by the tree or by the picnic benches. I'm gonna have the hood on and everything, and just kind of just stand there. And when you bring him up there, boom, we're just gonna jump him. So everything went perfect. Everything went according to plan. Dude gets up there, but then he realizes, boom, calls the calls the kid up, has him up to the park. Everything's working out flawlessly, right? I had the big jacket on, the oversized pants, so it didn't even look like me. I guess the shoes gave me away because I still had my same shoes on. It's like, oh shit, that's Will. So he said that, man. I turned, ran out, and we jumped him real quick. Fucking run to the car, drive back off. Like, boom, we got it. I mean, I'm sixth grade, dumb as fuck. Like, this kid knows me. Everybody fucking knows me. Everybody knows my dad. Everybody knows my parents. So it's like, I don't know why I thought I was gonna get away with this, or even if I thought that far. I don't really think I was thinking that far. Like, yeah, we get in a getaway car and fucking drive off. Nobody's ever gonna catch us. Yeah, that didn't last long. Like, he goes home, tells his mom. His mom calls my dad. I get home later. It's not fun at all. Everybody's parents got involved. Then we had to go back to his house and do this big old like meeting and apology. So you had to see him face to face? Yeah, that's for sure. Wild, wild, wild,
Man.
wild. You think I'd learn my lesson, at that grade. Sixth grade, here come fucking, 10th grade, 11th grade. A little older, so I've toned down a little bit. I don't really, because after that, like everything pretty much changed. Like after the whole middle school situation, I switched schools and I stopped living with my father. So I went and moved in with my mom. And then my sister, she was still doing the 2 weeks, 2 weeks. But now I was just strictly at my mother's house. And, so I was like, pretty chill. And then we moved. So my mother, she moved around a lot. Pop still had the same house, from when I was growing up. So yeah, we're just different parts of the city. So now we're in Lamita, 257th Street, and which is further away from the high school. But we were able to get a permit to go there because the first 2 years I was there, I played sports. I was a pretty good student, so they're like, yeah, we'll keep it going. So when I was up there, this is when the Nelly CD came out, Country Grammar, right? Like when that CD came out, like I was just I was all for it. So I had saved money up to go buy the CD. There's Warehouse Music Store, on like around the corner. So I go in the warehouse, I have a few dollars and the rest is just fucking change, like $15 in change to buy this CD, Country Grammar CD. Boom, come back. And it's the only CD I played, right? So at the time, like on this block, like there's a whole group of kids, we're all around the same age, and so my sister was like the youngest, and there's little older girls that were in high school, same age as me, and they were all kind of friends or whatever. So there's two of the girls that lived across the street, and I don't know what ended up happening, but somebody stole my Nelly CD, you know, and I was pissed. I was livid. Somebody stole my CD, like, and I needed to retaliate. I hate this. I hate this man. Revenge. I hate revenge. Just this thirst for revenge. So I guess I let myself get convinced as to who stole the CD because I didn't know who took the CD, but I figured, amongst the little group there that, they were going to throw somebody under the bus because I feel what happened. I feel like somebody threw somebody else under the bus and blamed this one girl in particular. So I was like, all right, well, she's going to get the fucking retaliation. So the whole plan was, and I was kind of like, I don't like to go too over. Like, I just like kind of keep it a little nice and chill, send a message, but nothing too crazy, right? And my thing was like, boom, we're just gonna fucking get her with a shitload of water balloons. Like, we just water balloon the fuck out of her, because I got the CD back for some reason, for somehow, like, the CD found its way back to me, but like I said, like, I now need to send a message. Like, you can't just be coming in my shit, taking stuff. So, uh, boom. So it was set. This is the girl that did it. This is how we're gonna get her. So we planned this whole thing out. And, it's like, yo, we're gonna go to this house, we're gonna call her over. And when she gets to the door, we're just gonna open the door, just throw a whole bunch of water balloons at her. And that'll be that. Like, I figured, boom. Like, message sit, like, we're all good. So we do all that. Well, one of the other guys, on the street was like, oh, let's just throw a whole bunch of fucking mustard and ketchup and all these other things in the balloon and just get it with that. I'm like, bro, the water's like fine. Like, it's like, we're not really trying to cause too much trouble on this fucking street. I think the water balloon, cause we have water balloon fights all the time. So like, it's nothing. It's like, it's within the boundaries. Crossing the line is with all the other shit. But he went ahead with it anyway. So we went ahead with the plan. Boom, open the door, water balloons, water balloons, water balloons, shut the door. And boom, that was that. Well, he grabs like the mustard, ketchup, mayonnaise, all that shit balloon, runs out the back door, comes around on the corner, and just drops her with that one. Oh man. And like then that was the end of that relationship. Like there was like between like she had now been just ousted. Like, she was no longer talking to anybody else on the street. Like, so I feel like horrible about that. You know? Yeah, so ah, yeah.
You want to
So
apologize to her?
I do.
It looks like you want to apologize to her, bro.
I do, man, because I feel bad. Because it's like, because we had all this fun together, right? Like, we're all a nice little group and stuff. And, she thought it was just going to be another day. She had went, she had gotten in the shower. She had did something in the morning. And she's like, okay, boom, we're going to have her day. I mean, you know how it is when we kids, we don't go hang out and you trust your friends and you just do all this shit, and like I said, with the water balloons, it was just going to be cool. But then we had the fucking condiment balloon and that's the one that really went over the edge. So I feel horrible about that. I'm sorry. I'm not laughing because I'm not sincere, but it's just, yeah, yeah. The thing that I guess inspired me to go into the military was just having the military background in my whole family, pretty much. My brother was throughout my life, he was in the Air Force. My father's Air Force. My uncle was drafted in the Army. Like, both my grandfathers were Air Force. My aunt was Air Force. So a lot of Air Force. And so I mean that was kind of the plan after high school, going to the Air Force. Um, but it didn't happen as planned. Last 2 years, I kind of slacked off a little bit to where I guess wasn't Air Force material. So after high school, when I went to recruiter, thinking, yeah, I'm a shoo-in, I have all this Air Force connection, my dad, my brother, and all this. Go talk to the recruiter, like I'm good, I just fucking, yeah, okay, yeah, your family's Air Force, boom, good to go. Well, I didn't understand that I needed to have a certain ASVAB score, and certain, yeah, mainly it's just ASVAB score. because the smoking weed thing, you just. So when with me in high school, or from my perspective, uh, I mean, just around like there was more. I guess I guess my mindset back then, right? Like I'm sure we were getting pushed with all those options. They have like the career fairs and like the different like lunchtime, things where they have the different military branches or they have like career day type stuff. Like so all that stuff was there, but it was optional to go to, where back in junior high school and elementary, like, you kind of had to be there. But in high school, it's just kind of like, here's all the stuff, just do what you want. It's not mandatory. But I had this one teacher that was very influential to me. And I think maybe it was just because of the timing of everything. This is my 10th grade year, 2001, 9/11. And this is my U.S. history teacher, Mr. Williams. And pretty much like that whole year, because September 11th, we had just started school. So this happened like a few weeks into that school year. Yeah, I was sitting there ironing my clothes for school that morning when the second plane hit, watching it on TV. It come out, it's just normal routine, mom was in there cooking up breakfast, doing all her stuff. Like I said, I'm sitting there in front of the TV. We watch the morning news every morning. So ironing up the pants and, I see the building's on fire. Wasn't really paying too much attention to it till the second plane hit. And you're like, you can't believe what just happened. You're like, oh, it's like it's just unbelievable. Like I don't know. I don't know how to describe that other than just, you just can't believe that you just watched a tech, you know? And then that whole rest of the day, it was just like a fog, because then now you're really starting to understand what had happened. And you're just like, fuck. Like, but yeah, it's pretty crazy. Basic training was a trip, man. I had so much fun. So I guess at the time it was like, all the war going on. So they had to bring in new I guess bays. So I was in like a Connex. So they have like the buildings, the basic training buildings where you go, and then we were kind of like out in the Connex. Like when we first get there, like it was just like all the movies. They come barking at you, get in formation, hold the bag over your head, everybody just yelling at you, smoking and all that stuff. Like it was chaos. It was fun. Like it was exciting. Because they were just like, get up in the face, and they would yell at you, tell me to get my hand over the head. So, I'm looking at all the different name tags and stuff like that, just trying to take it all in while still kind of doing what they're telling me to do without, causing too much of making myself too much of a sore thumb or stick out, you know? Like my whole thing was before going in, everybody told me, like if the drill sergeant don't know your name, it's a good thing, you know? So I kind of tried to keep that mentality going, but the drill sergeant knew my name very fast. And it was fun. I mean, I had the best time because there's like a few drill sergeants that was cool. There's another one that you kind of know what kind of day it's gonna be based on the drill sergeant that stayed overnight. Because they run like certain shifts, and yeah, it was a lot of chaos. But we'll go to the end first because this was epic. It was just like, so we're just our last field training exercise. We'd go out there, build our little foxholes, and do all like that whole field training exercise was just, it was so fun, because it was our platoon versus a different platoon over here. It was all this stuff. So we had to fortify our own little defense, and then we have like secret mission. We had the fire watch, and then we had the secret missions. Like, okay, on these force on force drills, like the big field training exercise, like we had to march to different like areas. It's out in the middle of Fort Benning, Georgia. So we're like in the woods. And we had to go there and set up these little foxhole positions, like defense positions, amongst our platoon. And then it'd be like our platoon versus a different platoon. Like we had to go infiltrate them, or we had to keep them from infiltrating us. Almost like a capture the flag type thing, And then we have the I forget what they called it. But it's like we had the blanks in the guns, and they have like the BFA type shit, but it's like remote control, almost like laser tag. When you fire the round, like the laser thing would kind of go off to the certain person's sensor on their gear, something like that. So, we all that, but a lot of stuff didn't even fucking work. So it just kind of like, we got you, whatever. So one instance at nighttime, because at nighttime it's like, people supposed to be sleeping, supposed to have, one up, one down, so through the foxholes, there's one person up, one person down. And like I said, just one night we're sitting there, just all hell breaks loose. Hey, it was fucking epic. Like you hear screaming, and then next thing you hear is just everybody just shooting. And it's just like, what's going on? You trying to listen to certain commands and all this. Oh man, that was just so much fun. And some people ended up taking it a little too seriously, and they were just like they stomped some dude out. It was fucking wild like that. That last FTX was just insane. So this is the last thing right before we head out on our like 13-mile ruck back to basic training. It's supposed to be the turning blue ceremony or whatever. It's one of these things. Like it's the last thing you did, and after that, like you're an infantryman, So right before this, I guess that day, that night is when we're gonna do the ruck. So we're just kind of all just closing up all the positions, like, digging up all the holes and stuff like that. And, one of the guys just, I don't know, he was in my platoon, and they were like, I guess it was somebody egged him on to go streaking down the fucking middle of this forest. So I'm sitting there, I'm all the way on the other side of this camp, right? So I guess my squad or whatever like that, we had finished up all of our stuff, and now we're going over to the staging area, kind of like where we're gonna have our chow and kind of stage until the ruck later that night. And I guess as we're doing this, the next thing you just hear all these all this loud stuff, these loud voices and stuff like that, and then you just see this fucking dude just running across the field. He's naked, man. He's just running across the field naked. And drill sergeants went after this dude so fast. We're just sitting there like, it was wild, man. It was wild. So they finally ended up getting him, and we all had to suffer. Like we just all just suffered. So during basic training, towards the end of it is when everybody's like new orders were getting ready to drop. They had like one slot for Korea, one slot for Italy. Some people were going airborne. Some people were continuing on doing different things. Some had like RIP contracts, go to Ranger, stuff like that. But for the regular guys, we it was pretty much just two bases. It was either Fort Hood in Texas or Fort Lewis in Washington. So, my name got popped for Fort Hood, go the 4th ID. So get out of basic training, boom, shoot home for like 2 weeks leave. And then a few of us that were going to Fort Hood that were from California, we all met up, road tripped out there, went to Fort Hood. So upon arriving at Fort Hood, give the guy the orders at the base. First thing he said, he's like, "Oh, you ready to deploy?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "Oh, Fort Hood is the most deployed base in all the Army." I was like, well, I mean, I guess. So, we get to where we're supposed to get to, and at this time, what's after we check in, everybody checks in because a lot of us checking in from like you know, you know, yeah, from all over the place. But 4th ID had just, I guess, gotten back, or they were slotted to go to deploy for another year. But 1st Cav was already deployed. So, and they were losing soldiers, so they needed replacements. So, once we get there, there's talks, okay, we're gonna split the group up. Some of you guys going to 1st Cav, some of you guys going to 4th ID. Well, my name got dropped for the 1st Cav. So boom, all right, you're going to 1st Cav, so you're getting deployed. I'm like, all right, well, I guess we're getting deployed. So I must have went through like 4 or 5 different units before I finally got to my final duty station or final unit in Baghdad, Iraq, which is 19 Cav, Charlie 19. and they were already mid-tour. So I joined mid-tour with them. So yeah, the check-in process with my unit in Iraq was all pretty surreal. Like you had some guys that were nice, and you have the other guys that were just just like rough, you know, like combat is kind of taking its toll on them, and they were just mean, and they didn't trust any but the new guys, So you had two different camps there. You had the welcoming guys, then you had the guys that were just like, fuck these new guys, So it's quite the adjustment, you trying to try to lean more towards the welcoming guys, but sometimes you get stuck with the guys that just, they've been in combat for 6 months. Here I am fresh out of basic training, like to them, they've proven themselves, you know, but these us new guys coming in, like we haven't proved nothing to them. Like they don't trust us. So there's one night on gate guard, because yeah. So we have the way that it was set up on our base. Half the platoon or half the company would be going out on missions, while the other one would maintain the security around the base. And then within that, you'd have some guys doing gate guard, some guys doing tower guard. But it was off of Saddam Hussein's one of old. So yeah, so on this gate guard is like out on the because the way this compound was set up is like an old airstrip, old airport. So you have the outer portion of it, and you have our inner portion of it. Um, where on the outer portion, the Iraqi, they had the Iraqi army and all the other like official Iraqi people kind of just, go about there. But when it came to our stuff, it was like, no, we were super like locked and loaded. We wouldn't let really anybody in, uh, without proper credentials and all that stuff. So at this gate guard, and it was like all the way at the furthest like exit of it. So a lot of shit went down there. And I got the shit in of a stick one night. I'll give you a quick little backstory. So when I got in there, uh, like it was hard for me to really get along with a few of the people. Right, a few people I got along with, the others, I didn't get along with so much. So I guess they kind of put a target on my back to where people were kind of gunning for me. I ended up getting jumped one night, and pranks had went too far, and within the roommates in there, I guess it was like some tampon that just kept getting passed around. It's like somebody had wrote something on tampon, or there was something in there or something. They were just fucking around, and like it wasn't a used tampon, but like people had wrote some shit on there, or like drew some blood, or I don't know, they fucked with it a certain way, and this tampon just it's like almost like a dirty diaper, like think of something like that, right? But with the tampon. So I just got thrown around, and I guess I ended up passing along to somebody I was just fucking last straw, and I go to leave the room, and he comes out like after me, runs up on me from behind the wall, gets me from behind, and everybody comes out if I can break it all up and all this shit. And yeah, like from there, I guess it was just open season on me. Like, because like he ended up getting in trouble, but they didn't really take too much, from him. But like all the people that, like didn't like what happened to him because of what he did to me, like they kind of came at me. So it's one night on gate guard. Like it was just, people drink on gate guard, and, different shit like that. There is a little bit of alcohol flowing around out there. Yeah, they were all drinking. Like I'm all by myself, and these dudes all just fucking team up on me. Like I'm fucking standing there. They're all just coming at me. I'm like, I'm outnumbered, first and foremost. Number two, there's shitload of loaded weapons around me. So I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna fucking just stand here and just pretend like none of this shit is fucking happening. Cause they were coming at me hard, just all up in my face, just talking shit. One guy was like he was still just going back to, I guess in his youth he did a lot of like trouble, so he was in and out of juvie and all that stuff, and he just kept running down his rap sheet, asking me like what my credentials are, like what my rap sheet is, like what my so it was just that whole fucking shift was just all that. So I'm like, man, I get the fuck up out of here, you know? So uh I find a loophole that I think I could use, but it didn't end up working out for me. Loophole was, because I was like, yo, like I can't do this no more. Like they all these people are just coming at me. Like there's some guys that were in our same barracks that kind of looked out for me, but they weren't in my platoon, they weren't in my squad, they weren't in my thing, like so the only time I seen them is when, like after missions or when I wasn't with my platoon, when I wasn't with the squad, where all the people were just fucking with me the whole time. So so I started going and seeing the chaplain. I'm talking to the chaplain. He's like, yeah, claim you're a conscientious objector and see if they'll send you home. So I'm like, all right, boom, I'm gonna try this. So boom, I go tell the first sergeant. Oh, I put even more target on my back after I did that. Like everything just fucking, like I was just fucking the black sheep of the whole thing. Like they put me on fucking bathroom guard duty for 18 hours a day. That was like maybe for like a week and a half. Um, and then first sergeant comes up to me. He's like, listen, like I know you're having a hard time here, you're having trouble here, shit like that, but we're not sending you home, so we're just gonna have to, pretty much just suck it all up. I'm just gonna send you back with the squad and everything like that, and we just have to go like that. So I ended up going back, and like I said, I tried to gravitate towards my other boy down the hall that were kind of looking out for me, and that's when I started boxing. It's like, okay, well, we have all these people kind of coming at me. I need to have a little bit of a self-defense background, so I don't get caught up anymore. And and yeah, so all that fun shit that happened, there's a little, dark stuff that happened up in there as well. I don't remember the first mission, but I do remember the drive from the airport by up to my duty station in the, Five Headhunter. And that was a whirlwind. So we're all in the back of these like LMTVs, MP unit comes to, give us the convoy. Like at this time we have no weapons. And we just have stuff we came with the States. Our duffel bags, rucksacks, all that. So they give us these guns, sit us in the back of this LMTV, 2.5 ton truck, and they're seating in the back. And they had like the cover on there, but we didn't have the cover because I guess all of us, we had a sector of fire. So it gave us fucking weapons and it's like, yo, something pops off, just shoot in that direction. So we get in this convoy and we have the Humvees and these big like trucks going on these convoys and it's just chaos. Like this is my first time in this country. I don't know what I've gotten myself into. I got this loaded weapon, cars honking, like people looking at us. Like you hear all the stories about bombs going off, people shooting at you. Like, so you're already kind of going in there like scared that something's gonna happen. Like you don't know. And it's just, and then until we finally get to the base, everything was kind of cool, but it was very, intense. So it's one highlight. First time I get blown up. So it's one of my first missions. I don't think it was like my absolute first one, but it was like within the first like 2 weeks I was there. Because we had jumped right in with the unit and they've been there already for 6 months. So it was routine for them, very new for us. So we had to go do this overwatch on this building. It's right on the Tigris River. So we get up to the rooftop. And they're pretty much just like, hey, okay, this is your sector, like look out for stuff. And so they place us all around this rooftop. So from my particular position, I'm seeing the Tigris River, I'm seeing the other side of the river. We were up pretty high. I don't know how high, but it was pretty high for me. Uh maybe like a parking structure garage, a little bit higher. It's like a normal one. Um, so I'm overwatching, looking at the thing. That's what I was told to do. Sit here, overlook, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be looking for or anything, but if I see something, like I'll say something. I see some dude cruising on a boat along the river. Um, and that's it. It just looks like one single person. I don't see anything on the other side of the river, just the trees and stuff like that. So then squad leader comes over to me. He's like, okay, so listen up, check this out. Um, every now and then, like we're gonna need you to move like different positions on the rooftop, just so nobody gets like a lock on the position or something like that. So I'm like, all right, cool. He comes, tells me this. He's like, yeah, so, I'll walk away. You just give it like 10, 15 seconds. And then, just kind of just move over there for a little bit, kind of just like back and forth type thing, just it's kind of like, don't get complacent. Just kind of keep moving. So, he leaves, I wait, and then I go maybe like 10, 15 feet from where I was just at. And then like had it been like the moment or just a beat after I knelt down, put my knee on the ground for Overwatch, you hear this whistle and a boom. Boom! And the next thing I know, again, I just feel myself just going back, just getting laid out, right? And the only thing I could describe that as is just, God's protection, just coming and shielding me. It's just big, loud explosion. I'm knocked off my feet, not knowing what's going on. All this chaos happens. I have this bag of pretzels in my pocket, and when I roll over, I smash this bag of pretzels. And that's the only thing I'm concerned about. So I'm like, fuck, here goes my food. Here goes my snack. So I run off the roof. I got this time. Nobody's on the roof anymore. After this, I get up, I look around, nobody's there. So I run to the open door to get back inside this building. And once I run back inside this building, everybody's surprised to see me. Like, oh shit, Jones, what the fuck happened? I don't fucking know. I smashed my bag of pretzels. I mean, I fell back, smashed the bag, and that was that. They're like, no, like, what happened with the mortar round? I don't fucking know, guys. Like, smashed my bag of pretzels, you know, and all this stuff. And there's all the adrenaline, like all that stuff is pumping. So they're all kind of like checking me, make sure I was good. I guess later we find out that like it had the explosion, it had the dud, or it had had the force, but it was like a dud. Like it didn't like I guess explode the way it's supposed to without shrapnel or anything like that. So it just kind of just fell, dropped, kaboom, and that was it. So that was one highlight. It's one instance in particular. Well, there's the one thing that they really like to do. They call these things thunder runs. Like we were supposed to go out there and just roam around and like look for trouble. Like, we're trying to uh egg the enemy to attack us. Like here we are, come get us. So we do these thunder runs, and always on these thunder runs, like we get grenades thrown at us, like all the time. So we'd be in the back of this Bradley, just sleeping, because I was the first cat division. We had Bradleys, and I was a dismount, the first tour. So it was always in the back of the Bradleys. We go out on the missions in the back of the Bradleys. They drop us. We go to the mission. Bradleys pick us back up, take us back in. But on these thunder runs, it's like we were just hanging out in the back, and if we, come into some contact, then they'll deploy us, and then we'll face it. But a lot of these thunder run contacts was just, pop shots and grenades getting thrown at us. So those were always fun, because like the grenades, just some days just felt like they were getting closer and closer and closer. But I mean, you're in these small little towns, you really can't see where the grenades are coming from or stuff like that. We had a few RPGs. I remember this one instance in particular. Okay, these two different instances. There's these apartment buildings that a lot of Saddam Hussein like loyalists kind of lived in. These was like high rise, this is a high end part of town, right? And these things were massive. So one in particular, like we had him put some Navy SEAL snipers, right? So we fit like 10 people in the back of this Bradley. It comfortably sits like 6 or 7. Like we like That's comfortable without gear, right? Now you throw everybody in there with gear. You got these snipers in there, uh, to where I'm the last man in the hole of this Bradley. So when the ramp goes down, I'm the last man out. So we get to the buildings. They drop the ramp. I mean, there's already like engaged firefight going on as the ramp drops. So this whole time, like I'm not concerned for any of that stuff because my leg just falling asleep from how I was sitting in this Bradley. So that's all I'm thinking about is my leg is fucking asleep. Like how am I gonna do this shit? Like they drop the ramp, everybody exits. My leg is just asleep. So I go, I'm able to get off the ramp. Um, but I take that next step, boom, hit the deck, right? Like I'm kind of just out there on my own because everybody already ran into the building, but my foot's asleep. So I try to pop up, do another step, boom, fall again. Everybody think like I'm hit or something. I'm like, no, my leg falling asleep. Like, I'm trying to get into the fucking building because there's a firefight going on. People fucking shooting. I don't know where it's coming from. I don't know if it's us shooting them shooting at us. All it was my foot asleep. I keep falling. I need to get into this building. So I'm finally able to get in the building. Everything goes off, and yeah, that was a fun instance. Another fun one was walking down the street and this car pulls up. Like we're just kind of, stagger formation, walking on the street. A white car pulls up. Two guys AKs just start firing at us. So we, take a little defense position, and then we get off and kind of chase after them a little bit. Now, a lot of around this time, what they were doing was they would do little pop shots and run to kind of bait you into an ambush. So, you know, after they did that, we're like, okay, well, this is what they're trying to do. So we had to kind of walk slow, and kind of follow them around. Well, they had ditched the car, and we were kind of just slowly trying to go after these guys, but not, get into a fucking, get caught up in an ambush. And that lasted for a good 2 or 3 hours before they finally just called it and sent us back. But I almost got attacked by some dogs on that one. Because we're walking in the like we had the one squad up there, and then I'm on this side, so we're overwatching those buildings. They're overwatching these buildings. And as we're coming out, these wild dogs come up and just start kind of just going at me. Like I don't know if I'm supposed to shoot these dogs, kind of shoot them away. They're like, John, what the fuck you doing? Leave those dogs alone. So I finally able to get away without getting bit by these dogs. So that was another memorable highlight. Another memorable highlight, night vision goggles. First time I used night vision goggles, I had no idea how they work. Nobody gave me a brief. So I'm over watching the alleyway on a night mission with the night vision goggles up, thinking I could see in the dark. Because when I put the night vision goggles down, like I couldn't see nothing. All I saw was green. I didn't know you needed to adjust them. Nobody had told me this, like, yeah, I just, first time using them. Like, so, Sergeant comes up to me. He's like, yo, Jones, what are you doing? I was watching the alleyway. He's like, why don't you have your night vision goggles on? It's like, 'cause I can't see anything out of her. He said, you know how you had to adjust them? Like, how am I supposed to do that? You got to turn the ring on there. Oh, no, tell you, man, like, I had this target on my back the whole first time, the whole first tour. I mean, the only training we got after basic training was just, it was very like hip pocket training. So I had no idea how to use a lot of the stuff that was issued me once I got to my unit in Baghdad. Like I said, they were there already for 6 months. Like I'm fresh out of basic training. I don't know what I'm doing, and nobody really taking the time to really go over the stuff because I guess they didn't know what they needed to go over. There was never that conversation. He's like, boom, here's your gun, here's your ammo. Just shoot in the direction that they're shooting at you. Don't get hit. Pretty much. Like that was, and I guess we just had to figure out everything else along the way. I was there for like 6 or 7 months. So we got there like Octoberish, 2004. And then we got back to the States around like March-ish, 2005. So yeah, so when we got back, right, that 30-day leave, a lot of people they weren't taking it too well, right? There's a lot of people they were getting caught up in drugs, and one, my battle buddy in basic training, I was with in basic training, ended up going AWOL. Got hooked on drugs, went AWOL. Like just kind of like a month or two after we got back. There's a few others like same thing. They just got caught up with cocaine and never showed back up. Some just got kicked out and things like that. Back here in the States, we don't have people actively trying to shoot you, or actively trying to kill you, So being in that environment to where it's all survival, to where it's like, you had to be on at all times, pretty much 24/7, to now coming back and it's like, okay, well, yeah, you don't have to you have to turn it off now, and for a lot of guys, it was just hard to flip that switch. So they look to other forms of, I guess, like stimulus. I mean, I think for me, like flipping that switch, it was kind of easy. I mean, I was still young, I was 19 years old at the time. So, uh, I don't know. I guess I had other things that I was into, to where I found my my stimulus or my outlet in other things. I mean, I'd go out, try to holler at girls, I'd go out, try to do the club thing. I go out do all this other stuff. For me growing up, drugs was never really a big part of my life, and I was 19, so there really wasn't too much alcohol. So getting back, like flipping the switch off, I still felt like I was young. I still felt like I was in high school. Still felt like I was a kid, you know, like trusting, like the authority figures, like the parental figures, like stuff like that. So I don't know. I felt like I felt like I wasn't alone. It's like, yeah, I just had this experience, but then I also felt like I had a great support system around. And I was going back and forth from Fort Hood to LA as much as I could. So a big thing that happened, like right after, I think it was in 2005 or early 2006, maybe 2000. I don't want to say 2005 when Hurricane Katrina happened, because it was in between the deployments, and they had sent us to go down and help with, I guess all the cleanup or whatever was going on down there, um, Hurricane Katrina. So we went there for like a few days. At the same time, the bigger mission was getting us ready to go back to Iraq on a second deployment. Well, when we got back the first time, a lot of guys were getting out or moving different duty stations or different things like that. So there's a whole like reshuffling happening. So, they the orders came down, boom. This unit is going down to New Orleans for Katrina. So we all get out there. Now, once we're there, they're like, okay, we need Bradley crew members, to train up on the new Bradleys that were coming up, the M2A3s. So I was on one of those crews. So us and like, me and, a handful of other guys, which was the coolest thing ever. We fucking took a Chinook from Louisiana back to Fort Hood. Man, I love that helicopter ride. It was just so fucking epic. So yeah, so then we got there, trained up on the Bradleys, and then we went to NTC, wrapped up there. End of 2006, like October, boom, off we went back on a plane to Baghdad, Iraq. The second deployment in Iraq, I feel was a lot more, I felt like it was senior year for me. It's like, I've already been here, I'm a little bit more, I guess, seasoned, kind of know what to expect. Like, there's a lot of new things still happening and you can't let your guard down. But at the same time, it's like, I kind of know a little bit. I know more than I knew first time coming over, so which gave me a little bit more confidence. And that one ended up being 15 months. And it was I want to say it was chaos, but it really wasn't. I mean, it's what you would expect as an infantry soldier, right? Like you're supposed to go where they send you. It's not going to be conventional. It's not going to be we're gonna put you up in these nice barracks and we're gonna put you up in this nice. It's like no, like Like we need you to get to the nitty gritty shit. We need you to get down in there and do this stuff. So when we got to the base, like they just put us wherever they had room. So when we first got there, we were in like these connexes type thing to where every time, and it was a big base, Rustamaya. So every time there was incoming, like mortar rounds or something like that, and we were in these connexes. It's like, the garage door. It's like that type of material or something like that. Like it's very flimsy. Like a round can go through that easily. So every time, you hear that, they'd have these bunkers set outside that we have to run to. And we had to move like 3 or 4 times before we actually got to like concrete buildings to where we didn't have to leave when incoming rounds were there. So there's a lot of chaos with that, just constantly shifting, constantly moving. But like I said, for an infantry soldier, like it's what you expect. Oh, I mean, that was the Legion 8 deployment where we lost 8 guys. And that was rough. It felt like March 14th, 2007. We had this all night mission, and like we were all out there. I don't remember exactly what the mission was. I was in the Bradley as a gunner, so my job was just to, just maintain my sector. We had me, the tank commander, and the driver. We had dropped the guys off. They were doing like house to house searches for something. Forget what it was. It was all night mission. Then we finally get back. Sun's getting ready to rise, or it could have been like, yeah, March 14th into March 15th, right? So, boom, now we're there, March 15th. Uh, because this is one of those rare occasions where the whole company is together, or the whole platoon is together. Because prior to that, it was just, half the platoon to be out and the other half would kind of be back on the base. We had this like refit rotation going on. We were in between like 3 different bases at the time. So in our sector, we all went out for this one. And when we got back, I guess the powers that be, they needed to figure out which half the platoon was going to stay for the refit and which half of the platoon was going to go back out to our outer base. And, as we're doing all that, with all night missions, so everybody's not knowing what's happening. They had a 24-hour snack bar or sandwich bar at the chow hall. So we all go get sandwich. I go get sandwich. And I love my mustard. I love my mustard. So the mustard, oh man, I just doused this thing with mustard. So we're all sitting there by the vehicles. I'm eating the sandwich. I got this mustard just all over my face. Everybody's making fun of me. My boy, Sergeant Ryan Green, like he's like he was like a comedian of the group. Like when he spoke or when he had everybody's attention, and it was just, and all the stuff he said, all the things he did was just like, yeah, you kind of just, it was a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to be around this guy. So, he's sitting there making fun of me with all the mustard on my face. I didn't care. Like, I'm fucking hungry, man. I'm eating my sandwich. So, word comes down that, this half is leaving, this half is staying. Well, Sergeant Ryan Green, he got put on the group that was leaving, and I was on the group that was staying. So, we're refit for like a few days, and pretty much during the refit, it's getting the vehicles, ready, was washing our clothes, kind of just hanging out for like 2. It was still like doing minimal work. We're not like combat mission, but we're just like gearing up to go back out to combat mission. I mean, we're always on standby, so it wasn't too much of a chill time. But we didn't have really anything going on until I guess later that day or tomorrow when we needed to take the vehicles down to the motor pool. So, I'm like, boom, we're just chilling, we're just kicking it. My plan was to just kind of kick it for a little bit until I got tired and then go take a nap. So, a few people kind of went off, took some showers, went to chow hall and all this stuff. So I'm just sitting around bullshit with the guys. This dude comes over from engineer company. We're all part of 1-8, but this was the Echo Company engineers, and they were just a little bit down the road from where we were at. And kind of how we were set up in our barracks we had the second platoon and then third platoon right next to each other. And then we had the tankers with us. And then first platoon went with that tank company. So we had like traded. Like they took our guys, we took their guys. So um second and third platoon is right there. This guy comes over and he's asking about somebody from third platoon. And I'm like, yeah, man, I think they're out there at Fob Hope. That was the name of the base. Like, yeah, they're out there at Hope. He's like, oh, well, we just heard over the radio that Legion took KIAs. And I'm like, oh, what the fuck are you talking about? Legion took KIAs. Killed in action. Like, yeah, KIAs IED blast. And I'm like, no, man, disbelief, right? Like, you hearing this for the first time, it's disbelief. Forget what you're talking about. He's like, no, you just heard over radio, 4 KIAs for Legion, Legion White, which is our platoon, right? And I'm like, nah, man, like, what the fuck you talking about? Like, I'm E4, he's an E3, so I'm not really giving him too much respect because of his rank when he tells me this information, you know? He's over here talking all this shit. I'm kind of just brushing him off. But he's like, no, like, you guys, you really did. So, I start riling up, all the other boys. Like, yo, this dude over here talking all this shit. Like, we just have 4 KAs, and now we're all grilling him. Like, yo, get more information. Like, you want to come over here and tell us this? Like, we need more information, and he's like, now we're he's kind of circling this. Like, so I go get one of the E5s, come out, same thing, and same old story. Well, we haven't heard anything from anybody else. It's just this E3 over here talking shit. So then our platoon sergeant Cook comes out from the showers. I run up to him like, yo, man, this dude over here is saying we've got 4 KAs and all this stuff. And, I'm like, yo, he's an E7, so he's a platoon sergeant. So it's like, okay, I'm going to let him get him, So as he's getting ready to get him, another E7 from battalion comes over. He's like, hey, Sergeant Cook, I need you to get get dressed, get your stuff, and then come see me. Battalion, we got a situation. He's like, no, this tell me what happened. He's like, no, you got 4 KAs, and then 2 are being Kazakh right now. And he's just fucking everything, we all just sunk, It's like what this dude say was fucking real. I'm sure he got out of there. I mean, I ain't see him anymore after that. But a very somber moment. After that, everything just got quiet. Sergeant Cook, he got dressed. Like, I'm gonna go find out what's happening. He goes, finds out. We're all waiting for him now. We're all like speculating, like trying to figure out what happened or whatever like that, trying not to come back. And then he comes back and he tells us, what happened. First IED went off. And at the time, the standard operating procedure was when the IEDs went off or bombs went off or something like that, try to go and find some evidence so they could figure out where these bombs were coming from or the origin of the bombs or something like that. So, boom, first bomb went off. Guys got out, dismounted, go check the blast area. Well, there's a secondary in there. Well, then we could check it. And, there was somebody watching. They set off the second bomb, took 4 instant, and then 2 died from wounds sustained. And so that night, the 4 that died instantly, Arnold, Terry Prater, Brand, Emerson Brand, and then Blake Harris, they had the Heroes flight. And yeah. Heroes flights they got old very fast. Very fast. So what ended up happening was with these hero flights, they'd have the bodies in the coffins with the flag over it. And they would bring them out of the morgue and put them on helicopters, and then they fly away. So we'd have to be their information while they did all this. And I mean, it was hard. It was I mean, it's guys I'm just fucking with, like earlier that morning, that I just seen the day before. And now I'm just watching their bodies, get put on the helicopter and flown away. Like I said, those got old fast. I felt like after that, it was just open season. There was always, like at that base, Rustamaya, it just felt like it was always a new heroes flight, always a new memorial ceremony or something like that. So I wasn't there. I was back on the base when the IED blast happened. But what they said was Kuhn, he was after that second IED went off, where we lost the four guys. Kuhn, he was part of one of Bradley crews, jumped out, went down there and started doing like medical stuff. Like
Triage.
yeah, triage, thank you. So yeah, he started, helping out, trying to get all these guys going so we could, get them out, Kazovac and all this stuff. Like so he played a very influential role in, keeping Green and Lightner alive. And then he ends up getting shot a few weeks later by sniper, shot in the head. And when that happened, we were at Fob Hope, and so he had went out with another group. Kind of the way it was kind of set up, like it was kind of just mix and match. They didn't have the full force out at the same time. We had like little small patrols that kind of went out. So we were getting ready for our patrol to go out. There's like daytime and nighttime patrol or something like that, but ours was later in the daytime. So we were getting ready to head out. And as we're, getting ready to head out, comes over the radio, we have, casualty coming in, like we gotta clear this fucking area. So, boom, we get all the area going, getting all that done. And then, these fucking, we find out what happened. Kun was shot. So, these fucking coming hot. The Humvees come in hot. So boom, they all shoot up right at the thing. We're all trying to stay back, but I guess we kind of still want to be involved, but we kind of just like staying back, respecting everything that's happening. So you get him in there, we see his body going into the aid station. Shortly after, they bring the Blackhawks down, and then the body goes out, like, and he's still alive, like while all this is happening. And then, you get him on the helicopter, I say a quick little prayer, like, like protect him, make sure he's all good and all that stuff. And then we go on our mission. I mean, we're all kind of shaken and rattled, because it's like, yo, like this type of shit keeps happening. Because even after that first initial blast, we kept getting hit with IEDs. Like his place called his route Predators right there, and like on that route, like we just like I got hit twice on this fucking road. Like my vehicle hit twice. Oh no, vehicle hit once on there, and then in the neighborhood right around there, got hit again. But on one mission in particular, our whole convoy got hit twice. We got hit like right at the first part of it, and then once the vehicle was still mobile, we moved on, and later on down the road, we got hit again. So it was, yeah. And at the time too, like you don't know how they're doing this. Like people have the cell phones connected to the bomb, and that'd be what triggered the explosion or something like that. So like that second tour, there's a lot of that happening. 2006 to 2008 tour, there's a lot of fucking that type of shit. So somebody be in a building on Overwatch or something like that, they call the number as the vehicle passed by, and then boom. So back on base, we did have downtime, so we weren't always in combat situations. And when we were at Rustamaya, it was big base, had a lot of different units there. We had a nice like aid station hospital, it was a nice building, and they had like this little bazaar, if you will. Like we had a PX on this base, they had a nice little bazaar. It's like for us, it was like what the green zone was. Like that was Rustamaya was like our green zone. Green zone had swimming pools and Burger Kings and Starbucks and just Pizza Huts, like all that stuff. You know, like we didn't have any of that in Rustamaya. But we did have a PX. And we had no pool. We had a nice gym, a few gyms, but it was a lot nicer than Fob Hope. We were at there. I mean, there was just one single building. Oh, which was cool. Thank you for bringing this up, right? Oh man. Okay, so at Fob Hope, we had this group of like contractors that lived in the same building. Like we had the bottom floor, they kind of had like the upper floors. Those were like the contractor guys. And a few of those contractors were from Fiji. So it's like Fijian contractors. Well, this one day they went out, got a fucking pig, and we had they dug a pit in the back and cooked this whole pig for us. Like we had this whole feast. It was fucking epic, man. It was just so amazing. Like the Fijian guys were like super cool. Like we really admired a lot of the I guess the contractors and those type of guys because I mean they didn't really go by the same rules as us. They had collaborated with our cooks. When they cooked the pig, and then it was just like a big like Thanksgiving feast, if you will. Like yeah, we had the pig, and the our cooks, our chefs, or whatever they had their stuff. So kind of just all mixed and match. Like during chow time, it's like yo, like, here's like this pig, and then here would be all like the condiments that kind of went with it, and then it's almost like a buffet style type thing. We did that. And then we had a basketball court on this fob as well, which was cool. So there's a lot of basketball games happening. That was like our PT. There's a small gym in there, which we made use of. A lot of dominoes. Scrabble became good amongst the guys. Uh, Spades, you know. I mean, it was fun. I mean, you got to experience, it's something you would never have experienced.
Yeah.
So when we got back from Baghdad, the ones that were getting out, they all got put to a different like platoon. I forget what they called that, but it was like the people that were getting out, and then everybody else was, gearing up for the next, guess, bit of training session or ramp up to go back. It is a whole packet you have to go through, and you have to be seen by certain people. You have to go talk to the National Guard people. You have to go talk to the doctors, the mental health, like all that stuff, but nobody's talking about any of this stuff, right? The main thing is like, yo, like for us it's like, yo, just sign this stuff, sign these papers, let's check these boxes off so we could get out. There wasn't a lot of emphasis on like, yo, we got to make sure like you're really really okay. It's like we pretty much talked amongst ourselves as to the things to say to get our paper signed the fastest.
It feels like go through the motions.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just yeah. Just go through the motions, get our paper signed, and we'll be out and figure it out from there. Yeah. So getting out of the army, it was like a bit of a honeymoon phase, like just get back from Iraq. I just got out of the army. Most money I had in my life at one time. Uh, and I was 22 years old. So um, it was fun. I mean, I had a good time. I ended up spending all that money, but I had so much fun, and I mean, it felt like a honeymoon, right? It felt like a vacation, like because block leave, you have your 30 days. Well, this felt like maybe like a 3 month of block leave, and then it got to the point where it's like, yo, all this stuff is just, and you just hit this lull, you know, where you just it's just nothing there anymore. It's like everything from the beginning is just, I wouldn't say stripped away, but it kind of just felt like that. It felt like you're just now out on a deserted island because the initial, oh, you're back from Iraq. Oh, you're out of the army now. Oh, let's, go out and do all these things. It's like, well, you know, everybody's life at the time was different. Everybody still had school. Everybody still had work, to where I was like, yo, I just got back from 4 years in the army, like 2 years deployed. Like, I just want to, party, have fun. And before long, there was nobody to do any of this stuff with. There was nobody to do anything with anymore, you know? So it's like you said, you just feel like you're just left alone on this island. You know, it's just isolation. So, you know, we find stuff to I guess stimulate us. You know, going into this whole thing, like the whole plan was, yeah, do my 4 years and then get out and go be in the movies. Like that was the plan. Like just go be in the movies, go be in the movies, go be in the movies. So, you know, I started playing around with that for a little bit, and then that got tired. And for me, it's like, you know, I still needed to justify um what I was doing, right? Because I came back home, I moved back in, you know, with my father, uh, you know, my family, you know, my dad, stepmom, stepbrother, little brother, and the little sis. So it was like, okay, I had to justify why I wasn't going to school or I wasn't getting like a traditional job, you know? So, you know, I started doing like extra work in the movies, like stuff like that, just trying to, uh, I guess, I don't know, I guess do something, you know, because Pops was really concerned that I wasn't, that I would just fall off, you know, that, yeah, I wouldn't use the experience that I just had in, I guess, a positive way, you know, to where people like fell off. So, you know, what I did was he came at me one day. He's like, "Yo, you've been out long enough. Like, yo, you gotta do something now." So I went out that day, got a job, worked at a job for 3 months. It was fucking 9 to 5, full time. I hated it. I just fucking hated every minute of it. To where it's like, okay, well, I didn't come out here to do this. I came out here to go and be in the movies. So then that started me on that whole journey to where I'm at right now, you know? And I used the GI Bill. I learned about the GI Bill. Like going into the military, you know, they have all these programs. They tell you, yo, it's a good idea for you to do it. At the time, like nobody's thinking about this, but like, yo, like you'll end up using this. This is gonna be beneficial to you when you get out. So don't opt out of this. Like this is something you need. So which was to my benefit because I mean it sent me on a wild journey and it was just epic ride. So yeah, I mean, with the whole transition and getting out, when I talk about the being isolated or feeling isolated after this whole little honeymoon phase, uh, you know, it's like there's moments, there's highs and there's lows, you know, and you know, like they say the peaks and valleys. Right? When you're at the peak, you have everybody there. But when you're in the valley, it's just fucking isolation. Like you're just all by yourself. And that's when it's easy to get into to certain things. Fortunately for me, you know, my stepbrother, he had just moved into a place around the corner from my dad's house. And I mean, it was walking distance. So that was like my saving grace. You know, like I couldn't drink at my dad's house, but I could go drink at my stepbrother's house. You know, it's him and his roommate, you know, they were all around the same age, so I mean, yeah, it was cool. Like I just got to be there, and while I'm there, you know, yeah, you know, I had my drinks, you know, I drank myself to sleep, you know, what I mean, I did all that stuff. I had my moments, had my low points, you know, I had all that stuff, but I feel like I had a nice, safe environment to be at. You know, I had somebody there to kind of look out for me, you know, or just to just to have, you know, when I wanted to just go and be hidden. So, and it's kind of still like that to this day. I do have my little quiet spots where I could go and I have this outlet. I mean, the outlet is very important. The outlet is important for me just so because I mean, when I got back, there's maybe only a handful of other people that had the same experience as me, you know? To where I just felt like nobody else got me. Nobody else understood. And all my people, I just left, right? Like they got back from deployment, they stayed in the army, or the ones that got out, like we all went back home, So yeah, we had the phones and we had all that stuff, but when you're going to the supermarket, down the street in your neighborhood, and nobody just had the experience that you had. I mean, it's hard to connect with people. So you feel like all alone out on this island. So, we have these outlets, we have these little, peaceful places to where we could just unwind, and I guess deal with our own problems. Because I mean, the people that run into the supermarket, they're dealing with their problems, and I mean, our problems are different. Like stuff that would happen here in the States, if it happened over there, it would be a whole different reaction to where it's like, okay, well, now I have to kind of contain myself so I don't, you know, snap or I don't, go off on somebody, or I don't do something to kind of bring a negative attention towards myself, so I need these outlets to where I could just go and just have that release, to kind of just go unwind, find my peace, find my tranquility. Fitness is a big outlet for me. The ocean is a big outlet for me. Like adventures, traveling, like doing things I've never done before. It's always kind of pushing a little bit of boundaries is also another outlet for me. Life for me now is amazing. It's just it's so epic. Um, I'm living the dream. Just living the dream. Because okay, so my high school sweetheart, right? We just reconnected after like 13 years. Just randomly, just ran into her, you know, 2 years ago. And now I got 3-month-old baby, little baby girl at home, and it's the most beautiful thing ever. Ah, man, it's a dream, honestly. It's a dream, being with dad is yeah, it's the dream, right? Like I guess it's a dream I never knew I wanted, I never knew about. It's a dream I never dreamed, if that makes any sense. It's like I was totally going off somewhere else, and then boom, this thing happens, and you could just everything else just doesn't matter. Things that used to matter, things that I thought were just important, just not important anymore. You know, and yeah, I mean, having a baby, I mean, a little baby girl at that, I mean, she's fucking epic, man. It's like, oh, I love it, I love it. I love getting pictures of her. I just love all her little noises she makes, just all of it. It's just. And then, I mean, when she cries, she cries. So, I mean, there is that side as well. I mean, my ears. Yeah, she puts up the biggest fight when you're trying to put her to sleep. Like, to the point where she loses her voice. Like, the next day, like, the cry is just, like, kind of muffled. So you kind of laugh a little bit. It's like, you should have cried that hard last night. You should have just put to sleep. I don't know, man. That was my taste of fatherhood. I'm having time in my life. So when I first met her back in high school, it was in 10th grade. She was 2 years older than me, or she is 2 years older than me. But back in high school, there's this girl in my science class had like tarot cards. So I'm like, yo, like give me a reading, just for shits and giggles, like give me a reading. And there's two things that she said in that reading that I took and lived my life by ever since. Was gonna marry a Puerto Rican girl with my soon to be wife, fiance, Puerto Rican, baby mama, who, and I was gonna be a movie star, you know. And shortly after that reading was when I found, my Puerto Rican girl, in class. Like, boom, there she is. All I gotta do now is be a movie star, or marry her, be a movie star, and my life is set. Like that was the whole plan back in high school, you know. But God has other plans. So took me 23 years to get there. So our boys, so Ruck for Vets, Matt Petch started that. I got involved 2020 during the COVID, when everything was kind of just shut down, and the isolation really happened. Matt Petch had Ruck for Vets, where they have these rucks, and they have the beach workouts, and they have all these things. So I just got involved with them and started doing all the beach workouts. Started going on the rucks, the Memorial Day ruck, Veterans Day ruck, and through that, I met other veterans to where now we have this nice, close knit bond. Same thing we had, in the military, where, really, because finding other people with the same, experiences and, we're being pillars for each other. So one of the guys is a boxing coach, Theo Albert, boxing mechanic. So, another guy, another Marine. He was Albert's in the Marine Navy, and then we had another guy, Rich, Marine. Um, he's also a police officer, and he is training him up. So we're involved in these like police, first responder fight leagues, boxing matches type thing. And we had a boxing match to go to where I was cornering for Rich's fight. And me and Al, we were carpooling, so we need to go pick up some supplies from like a CVS or something for the fight. The Vaseline, towels, bucket, ice pack, all that stuff that we need to be uh, cornerman for. So it just so happens on the way to the freeway, there's a Rite Aid, and this Rite Aid is down the street from the high school. Albert, we all went to the same high school, Torrance High School in Torrance. So, we're there. I run into another one of my buddies that I was in high school with. And, I was like, yo, this is the Torrance High School reunion spot, and pretty much like, right after he said that, in walks in my Puerto Rican girl. I was like, yo, oh man. Like I turned, I seen her walk in. I'm like, that's her. I'm like, yo, what's up, Natalie? Ran right up to her, gave her a hug. It was a very warm reception, right? She's like, oh, I was just talking about you, last week and all this stuff. I'm like, well, boom, here I am. I was like, yeah, it's a good sign. Yeah. I'm checking. Okay, she ain't got no jewelry on, wedding ring, like, okay, okay, all right, all right. She's like, yeah, my favorite picture, her favorite pictures of you and her son Malachi, right? Yeah, because back when I first got back, you know, we kind of been like off and on through my whole military, time and stuff like that. Because she had graduated before I did, so she was off living her life, and I was still doing my thing. And like we, meet up every now and then. Um, so after I got back in 2008, 2009, like, we're hanging out. She had her son, so we go out and like we do things. And there's a picture of me and him, and it's the only picture she has of me. She's like, yeah, I have the picture. So she sent me that picture, and then from there, it took me like a whole nother 6 months, really, to kind of get her on the first date or get her on another date. Right? Because, like I said, we get on a date from this time, and then boom, from there, it's been just sewed up ever since. A few things that I would like to say. I would like to encourage, like anybody, if you going through something or you're having a hard time or something. I mean, there's people out there that you can reach out to, that you can reach out to. Um, whatever you like maybe you grew up fishing or something like that. There's organizations out there that have fishing trips for veterans. They're going through things. The VA is getting better. You could find help at the VA. Now we also have to keep in mind that when we go to these big institutional like VAs and things like that, I mean, it's gonna be the same as the military, to where uh we feel like just another number, you know? So, and it's okay to feel like that. At the same time, also remember that there's other people, your peers, other people in that area that are feeling the exact same way. So find ways to connect with those other veterans, right? As we're seeking help from the VA, use the other veterans there as a resource, because they may have something that you haven't even thought of to to try, and you may have something of value to them. So yeah, I just encourage you to, you know, just be a light to somebody else, uh, and keep it burning, keep that light burning. You know what I mean?